You can call me Mystic Mike because I predict these things.
Jimmy Crute takes on Rodolfo Bellato this weekend on the UFC 312 main card in a light heavyweight matchup. This is a very fun fight. I think these guys are both pretty skilled guys, pretty good, honestly. Jimmy Crute, he's been kind of 50-50 in his career. Burst onto the scene in the UFC, went on Dana White's Contender Series, ended up subbing Paul Craig, who, as we know, Paul Craig is a very good jiu-jitsu practitioner. Ends up beating Sam Alvey, knocking him out with strikes, which is good. Sam Alvey is known as a pretty decent striker on the feet, decent power. He then gets Peruvian necktied by Misha Cirkunov, which is no shame. Cirkunov's really good fighter. Beats Ola Chaychek, beats Bukauskas by knockout. Loses to Anthony Smith. That was kind of a weird one. Anthony Smith landed a leg kick, which kind of took out his peroneal nerve. Made his leg kind of go numb. They TKO'd him at the end of the first round. Gets knocked out by Jamal Hill. No shame there. Jamal Hill's, obviously very good, former champ. Then goes to a draw decision with Alonzo Menifield. In this fight, he was just getting tagged up on the feet. I don't know how Jimmy Crute survived a lot of those punches. Would have lost the fight if Menifield wouldn't have grabbed the cage in the third round. Would have lost the decision, since he did win the third round on the judges' scorecard and get the point deduction. It ended up in a draw, and then he loses by guillotine choke in a rematch. Rodolfo Bellato, very big, intimidating guy. Nickname is the Tractor in Portuguese. 12-2 record, coming off of a win over Ior Potieria. Another guy off of the Contender Series. Beat a guy named Murtaza Talha, not very experienced guy. Was 6-0 going into that, but he did win by knockout. So Bellato, he very good striker, very good jiu-jitsu, very good open guard and submission attacks off his back for such a big guy. He's like 6'3", 205, 77.5 reach. Jimmy Crute's going to be 6'2", 74-inch reach, so half an inch reach advantage. But Bellato's just got tons of power on the feet. Very good striker. Very good jiu-jitsu, like I said. So he'll be able to counter a lot of Crute's offense on the ground. I don't know if he's going to have the takedown defense to deal with Jimmy Crute. I think that's going to be one of the things we've got to consider in this fight. But he was getting tagged up in this last fight too against Potieria, and that concerns me. If you're getting pretty much put out, he was very close to getting KO'd in that fight against Potieria, who I don't rate very highly. Potieria, he's more of a volume striker, not a lot of power, but he was tagging Bellato in that fight. Bellato was just kind of able to wear the storm. Had the better cardio, and then was able to get dominant position over Potieria, and I think it was in mount. Ended up getting back mount and TKO'd him. So I do think Bellato is the better striker, and I feel like his jiu-jitsu and just his size and his tenacity is gonna match up well with Jimmy Crute's wrestling and judo. So I'm gonna go with Bellato. Jimmy Crute, like I said, very good grappling. Comes from a judo background, high level submission game, throws really good leg kicks, but where he struggles on the feet, is on the feet. We've seen him get knockouts, but that's kind of against lower level competition, and we've seen him get knocked out by Jamal Hill and just take an absolute beating from Alonzo Menifield. I think Alonzo Menifield's good, but just the amount of damage he was taking on the feet, I see Bellato being able to have the same success. I think Jimmy Crute's he'll land his punches against Bellato, which concerns me because I saw how much damage and how hurt he was getting against a guy like Potieria, and I feel like Crute hits much harder than him. But I think Bellato will be able to take it. I think he'll be able to get the better on the feet, and I think when Crute wants to take it to the ground, he's going to struggle there. He's going to struggle to get to the ground, and if he does, I think that Bellato will be able to I think he'll be able to threaten with his subs, sweeps, get back up to his feet. Biggest thing for me in this fight is that Bellato's taking it on short notice. He's taking it on, I think it's 4 weeks. I think he accepted it first week of January. Jimmy Crute was originally supposed to fight, who was it? Marcin Prokhnio, who backed out. So I don't know if Bellato has been training, what type of shape he's going to be in, because he's going to need to be in decent shape to be able to defend the takedowns and handle the scrambles that I foresee Jimmy Crute causing. Crute had a really back and forth, long drawn out war with Minifield in their first fight. And Minifield's kind of that big dude with striking power, so I feel like Crute's going to try and implement the same game plan where he's going to be shooting to get takedowns and control on the ground, do damage, look for a sub. So I need Bellato to have the cardio to be able to withstand those grappling exchanges if it does go 3 rounds. So, but I do think if it does go to the ground, I do think he's got just as much of a submission probability as Jimmy Crute does. So he is a high-level black belt in his own right, and we've seen the power that he's had on the feet too. I think he's gonna be better on the feet. I am concerned, like I said over and over, about this Potieria fight where he was getting tagged on the feet. I'm also concerned about him losing twice to Vitor Petrino on the feet. I don't think Vitor Petrino is as good as people think he is. I said that for his last fight, even though I picked him, and he got knocked out by Justin Jacoby. Granted, he was winning that fight before he got caught by Jacoby. So I do think Bellato will win this one. I think he'll get a finish because I feel like he's going to be coming into this thinking that he can finish Crute either by submission or more than likely strike. So I think he's going to go for it. I'm concerned that if he does that and doesn't get it, he's not going to have the gas tank to go the full rounds with Jimmy Crute. But I do trust Bellato. He was getting hit by Ior Potieria, but Potieria is much quicker, and I think he's a better striker than Jimmy Crute is. I think Jimmy Crute, he throws with a lot of heat, but I do think Bellato will be able to stay safe and kind of dodge those not as quick strikes of Jimmy Crute. So I'm going to go with Bellato in this one. He's not a huge. I feel like the odds would be a lot different if he had a full training camp, because he's a -140 favorite, and Jimmy Crute's a +120, so small favorite. Even though he is the short notice opponent, I think that tells you a lot. So I'm gonna go with Bellato, the tractor, in this one by TKO. If he doesn't get the TKO, I think he'll get the decision. So let me know what you guys think. Low confidence pick on this one, but it's hard for me to pick Jimmy Crute after these last few performances that I've seen, struggling against Alonzo Minifield and Anthony Smith. So yeah, Bellato. Thanks, guys.